hey, what you gonna do? Because if you're gonna act a fool, you're not gonna get the title. You're not gonna get to keep your current title, and you're also going to lose privileges. And that's just giving a much needed smackdown, in my opinion. Much needed smackdown. YouTubers, welcome to my channel. Here's my Mr. Otis. Come here, Otis. He always wants to say hello. He's saying hello. Hello. Charles is doing a reshuffle with these titles for Meghan and Harry. They're going to be keeping their titles despite what King Charles has said. Counselor of State can act on behalf of the sovereign in exceptional circumstances. So Prince Harry and Meghan titles are not under threat. And they've been told this after King Charles has approached Parliament over his counselors of state. Now, questions have been raised over the continued use of Harry and Meghan's the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, and they have retained them, we know, since they moved to the States. So they have given up their senior royal duties and were stripped later of their ability to use the HRH titles, but they still continue to use the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex titles. People were raising eyebrows. They were like, what? Like, you can't do this. Why are you still even allowed to use that? You're not even working royals. You don't even visit Sussex. And so there's been a lot of controversy around them using these titles. King Charles did approach Parliament to initiate the process of this legislation. This would change the 1937 Regency Act. So the sovereign's proposal would mean that Princess Anne and Prince Edward, these two siblings of the king, are not currently counselors of state, and they are inducted into the exclusive group. So he's trying to have this made so that they can be inducted into this counselor of state, which means that they will act on King Charles's behalf should he be out of state. You know, if he needs a fill-in, they would have the right to do this. So it has been widely interpreted as a move which would sideline Prince Harry and Prince Andrew, who are currently counselors of state, with Camilla, who is the queen consort. So Prince William and Princess Beatrice, despite no longer being working royals, who are also currently counselors of state. So just because King Charles now has a track record of approaching Parliament to change traditional royal matters, this does not mean that he will do the same when it comes to the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex. It's not going to change whether or not he's going to change how their titles could be removed. So Bob Morris of the Constitutional Unit of University College London, he described the two parliamentary processes as entirely distinct from one another. They're completely separate situations. So he told the Express that uncontroversial amendments to this Regency Act are entirely distinct from depriving the Sussexes of their titles. That will require a separate legislation which would not in any way be facilitated or made more likely by the Regency Act amendment. So in a statement read to the House of Lords on the King's behalf, the sovereign said that he would be most content to offer his siblings the counselor of state roles. Now, the monarch said the amendment would ensure a continued efficiency of public business when I'm not available. And then this would also include the monarch when he travels abroad. The proposal was also delivered to the House of Commons, and it would not remove the Duke of York and the Duke of Sussex from their roles as counselors of state, but rather decrease the likelihood considerably that they would not be called to dispute in for the monarch, which, right, because we know that would cause controversy if they were to step in to speak on the king's behalf or anything. So they want to make sure that there are other options. We want other options for the king to have someone speak on his behalf. And to me, that says he's not putting his trust that Harry will be able to step in for him, nor would he want him to. It's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Now, it comes as the monarch, along with other senior royals, are widely expected to travel extensively around the globe next year as part of the beginning of King Charles's reign. It also coincides with increasing questions around contents of Prince Harry's upcoming memoir, which we know is going to be released early next year. And Harry, he handed a pre-written resignation letter to tell Netflix he is quitting the $85 million deal. What? What? Oh, okay, yeah, because you know you want those titles, and you know you're not going to get the titles if you get to move forward with that Netflix deal. So a royal commentator called on the Duke to walk away from his agreement with the streaming giant amid fury over The Crown. Prince Harry has been urged to abandon his Netflix deal by a commentator who penned him, suggested that he send a resignation letter to Netflix. Dan Wooten blasted the portrayal of the members of the royal family during the latest series of The Crown and called on the Duke of Sussex to walk away from his and Meghan Markle's agreement to be worth $85 million. So he hasn't walked away from nothing. They're telling him, you need to walk away. Is he going to walk away? How badly do they want the titles? That is the question. So Dan branded the 5th season an all-out assault on the credibility, reputation, heart and soul of the monarchy, including the late King Charles and Princess Diana. And the royal commentator wrote imagined resignation letter on his mail column, which he says that Harry should send Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos this resignation letter. And he hasn't done it. He's not going to do it because he needs the money and he needs his independence from the crown. Essentially, he has sold his soul to the devil because he needs to go pay the piper for the things that he wants to do to get that money. And even if it means throwing his own mother under the bus, even if it means throwing the Queen Elizabeth, her legacy under a bus, and the current King of England, King Charles, Harry has no moral grounding. He no longer has ethics to show that he's willing to do the right thing despite trying to serve himself and his wife. They are despicable, in my opinion. They have no credibility whatsoever. They have put money above all else. They should see the ramifications of their choices by everyone in the public that comes in contact with them. They need to get a smackdown by anybody that decides to work with them moving forward that really has favor for the monarchy. And I believe the Obamas have done that, hence they have not invited them to some of their past events. And it goes to show that their loyalty was to the Queen, the monarch. They're not going to now give Harry a pass because of his relation to the Queen. Look at what he has done. That is what matters. And people need to continue to blast and show their disapproval of what Harry and Meghan are doing with their collaboration with Netflix, considering what Netflix is doing with the Crown series. There's things in there that are really dishonorable to the monarchy. And I think if you have a partnership with a company that is not making your own family look in a good light, then you need to abandon your relationship with them. Do the right thing. Accept the resignation letter, Harry, and put your foot down against the things that your wife wants you to do. Because at this point now, you are going to the biggest point of no return that is going to cost you everything. Listen up, do the right thing.